Okay, let's jump right into this. Welcome to this explainer, where we take complex, shifting tech news and break it down into clear, actionable steps. Today, we're talking about a massive, fundamental shift coming to the world of Microsoft artificial intelligence certifications. Honestly, if you've been putting off getting certified, or if you're a non-technical professional just looking to prove your AI literacy, you need to pay very close attention right now. The landscape is completely changing, and that window of opportunity is closing a lot faster than you might think. So, let's look at exactly what's going down.
June 30th, 2026. Mark that date because the clock is officially ticking. Microsoft just announced that their super popular, highly accessible, beginner-friendly Azure AI Fundamentals certification, the AI-900, is retiring on that exact date. Now, I know what you're thinking. In the tech world, a year and a half might seem like a long time. But when it comes to planning your career progression and actually securing a credential that proves you understand the most disruptive tech of our generation, that deadline is practically tomorrow. So, here's the million-dollar question. Are you ready to code your AI exams in Python? Yeah. Let that dread sink in for just a second if you aren't a software developer, because that is exactly what the future holds if you miss this deadline. The replacement for the AI-900 is on its way, and it fundamentally changes the rules of the game for anyone trying to get an entry-level AI credential.
The contrast between where we are now and where Microsoft is heading is stark. It's a completely different ballgame. The current AI-900 requires absolutely zero coding, none. It's perfectly designed for business pros, marketers, and analysts to just prove they understand core AI concepts. But the incoming AI-901, that requires Python coding. It requires deep knowledge of Azure AI solution architecture and hands-on experience with Azure AI Foundry. It's shifting from this broad, accessible credential to one specifically built for aspiring AI engineers. Basically, if you aren't a developer, your path is about to get exponentially harder after June 2026.
Section 2. Why take AI-900 now? The ultimate accessible AI credential. Well, beyond just avoiding a stressful coding test, this is arguably one of the absolute highest value, lowest barrier certifications in the entire tech ecosystem right now. Just $99. That's the whole exam cost. In a world where professional certifications can easily cost hundreds, if not thousands of dollars, the financial barrier to entry here is incredibly low. Microsoft priced this to be accessible, making it a super low-risk investment for what could be a massive return for your career.
And the perks are fantastic. Unlike those intense, role-based certifications that expire every year and make you take rigorous renewal tests, the AI-900 is a fundamental certification. What does that mean? It means once you pass it, it never expires. Ever. You keep it for life. Plus, it's APC college credit eligible, so students can literally translate this $99 45-minute test into real university academic credit. Whether you're a business manager, a marketer, or a student, this is a permanent, high-value addition to your resume. Also, it doesn't just sit there in isolation. It acts as the perfect foundational stepping stone. It gets you comfortable with the core vocabulary and concepts without totally overwhelming you. And then, from there, if you actually do decide you want to get a bit more technical later on, you're perfectly positioned to tackle the AI-102 to become an Azure AI engineer, or maybe the DP-100 to become a data scientist. It gives you the confidence to eventually step into those highly lucrative, advanced roles.
Section 3. The 5 core exam domains. Visualizing the curriculum.
To really demystify what this exam covers, you have to understand how much it's evolved recently. Generative AI is now the biggest, fastest-growing chunk of the entire test, sitting at about 22.5%. Honestly, when this exam first launched years ago, Gen AI wasn't even a main category. But now, Microsoft fully expects you to have a solid grasp on large language models and the Azure OpenAI service. So you're absolutely going to want to allocate your study time accordingly. Let's quickly break down the fascinating concepts inside these domains. First, you'll need to know responsible AI. We're talking fairness, privacy, and inclusiveness. Then you'll cover machine learning fundamentals, like figuring out the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning. You'll dive into computer vision, which is super cool, learning how machines see through object detection and optical character recognition. You'll explore natural language processing, covering things like sentiment analysis and real-time translation. And finally, that massive generative AI domain focusing on prompt engineering and Azure OpenAI. And remember, the best part? You get to learn the breadth of all these cutting-edge capabilities without writing a single line of code. Section 4. The 4-week exam study schedule. Your step-by-step roadmap to passing. Okay, now that we know what's on the test, let's pivot to your actual rescue plan. If you're starting entirely from scratch today, here is a foolproof, highly actionable 4-week study roadmap that only requires about 5 to 7 hours of your time a week. Week 1 is all about foundations. You'll use free Microsoft Learn modules to understand the basic AI workloads and just memorize those crucial responsible AI principles. Week 2, you tackle machine learning. Get yourself a free Azure account and spend maybe 30 minutes just clicking around Azure ML Studio. Week 3, you bundle vision, NLP, and generative AI together. And finally, Week 4 is entirely dedicated to taking timed practice assessments and just reviewing your weak spots. You can absolutely do this.
Now, when you actually sit down for those 40 to 60 questions, keep a few game day essentials in mind. You need a 700 scaled score out of 1,000 to pass. Because this exam tests some pretty nuanced concepts, you really must read the scenario questions twice. Literally one single word can change the correct answer. Use the testing interface to flag any questions you aren't 100% sure about so you can come back to them, but listen to me on this last point, it's absolutely crucial. Always register for the exam with a personal Microsoft account. If you use your work or school email and leave that organization a few years down the line, you'll permanently lose access to your certification records. Seriously, protect your investment.
Section 5. Top free study resources. Pass the exam without breaking the bank.
So you have the timeline, you know the material, but what tools should you actually use to study? Well, the absolute best study tools out there are completely free. Let's rapid fire the ones you need to bookmark right now. First up, the Microsoft Learn official paths. They're broken down into bite-sized, interactive modules tailored exactly to the exam domains we just talked about. Second, the official Microsoft free practice assessment. It's available right there on the exam page. Definitely take this under time conditions. And third, go search YouTube for John Saville's AI-900 Study Cram. John's video is legendary. It beautifully bridges the gap between raw Microsoft documentation and true, real-world understanding.
Look, if you're a focused learner following the roadmap we just laid out, hear this loud and clear. You absolutely do not need to buy expensive paid courses to conquer this exam. Microsoft has provided a wonderfully comprehensive, totally free ecosystem to get you certified. Literally, the only thing you need to invest is your time and your consistency. That's it.
Which really brings us to our final thought for today. The landscape is fundamentally shifting. The incredibly accessible no-code AI-900 exam will vanish on June 30th, 2026, and it's going to be replaced by a highly technical exam demanding real Python skills and heavy architectural knowledge. So my question to you is simply this. Will you secure your lifetime AI credential before the coding requirement drops? The resources are free, the roadmap is right in front of you, and the clock is officially ticking. Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and hey, good luck with your studies.